What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cage Time with Christopher James. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Happy to be here, man. You know, we got a lot to be grateful for this year. You know, everybody said 2020 has been a year that, you know, has been the worst year. But when you think about it, we've all survived. We've gotten through. We've made the adjustments. We made adaptations in life, and we're still here. We're still pushing forward. Fight game is still popping. I mean, life is good. My family's great. My wife, my grandson, my daughter. My first guest coming on, his family is great. His wife, his daughter. Life is good. He's got a fight coming up. One of my favorite people. I remember when I met him, he was 0-2 as a fighter, and he hasn't lost since. I must be his good luck charm. That's what I'm thinking. We're going to bring him in for you right now. He is absolutely a captivating personality. He's an incredible talent, and he'll be making his UFC debut in February. Let's bring him in right now, the man himself, the one and only Phil, the Fresh Prince Rowe, joining us on the show. Phil, what's going on, man? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, my guy. Good to see you, brother.
Always good to see you, man. So, first of all, before we get into the fight and all the stuff that you had to go through to get to this fight, just tell us about your Thanksgiving day and what you're grateful for today on Thanksgiving.
Pretty chill, man. I'm grateful that I'm in good health. You know, my wife's in good health. Is in good health. My baby's in good health, man. But pretty low key. It was just the two of us and my mother-in-law. Nothing crazy. Just chilled. My mother-in-law now lives in my neighborhood, so we went over there, ate some good food, and then I've just been sleeping all day, low key.
So eating food with your in-laws and passing out, taking a nap.
There you go.
I like it, dude. So, how's fatherhood treating you, man? Your daddy, your little girl, by the way, dude, every time I see a picture of her, she gets prettier every freaking day, this little girl. Oh, my God.
Thank you.
That's them Phil Rowe jeans, right?
Exactly. She's a little brown baby. But no,
She
man,
is
it's
beautiful.
good, man. It's good. Every day that goes by, I learn to love her more, you know. I see her growing right in front of me. And now at the age she's at, like day to day, you see little changes in her. Like she's able to hold her head up more. She's able to hold her body weight up more. She's able to roll over. And it's literally like one day she can wake up. One day she won't be able to roll up. And literally the next day she's able to roll over. Excuse me. So it's like crazy, like the day-to-day changes you see in her. But it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
Is she doing tummy time?
Yeah, man. That's all she does. Like she just works out all day. Tummy time.
Working out all day.
So right now she's like at I think she's like at an hour a day of it. So we let her rock out as much as she wants until she starts getting uncomfortable. So she's there for like 10 minutes at a time, and then we just do it throughout the day. So it equates to an hour. But yeah, man, she's growing. She's strong, long arms, big feet like me, big hands. She's gonna be a big girl.
She's going to be a big girl. She's going to be a very well educated and very set for life kind of person.
Sure.
Between you, doing what you do, and of course, your incredibly intelligent wife who's a dentist. And you know, she's like you. She just had a different fight. You know, you trained to be a fighter. She trained to be a dentist. You both went through all kinds of crazy stuff to get to where you are today in your professional career.
For sure.
And it's not easy to do what she does. So the fact that your daughter has you as her dad and your wife as her mom, she's really a blessed little girl, and she should have all the advantages in life, including I don't. It's weird to say this, but she's gonna have her dad's sex appeal. I think she's pretty little, I just feel it like she's gonna pull that swag on the boys, and you're gonna be like laughing, going, "Did you break another little boy's heart, girl?"
And she'll be able to choke him out too.
There is no doubt in my mind that your daughter will be able to choke out anybody, or just straight up knock him out. I mean, that could also happen. So you just never know. All right. So, 2019 was a great year for you. You went out to Vegas. You finally got a chance to, fight your way into the octagon. And I know because I was there. I watched you take that fight. I watched you win that fight. And, we all thought that once that fight happened, within, 90 days, we're going to see Phil in the octagon. And now here we are, it's, we're 15 months past.
Crazy.
So give us a breakdown of the timeline, because I know you had an injury at one point with your foot. That was the most recent setback. I know there were some fighters that pulled out and they couldn't put the fights together. So just kind of give us a breakdown on the timeline from the first booking that because you had, I think this is probably your fourth booking, right?
It is my third
booking.
So it is no wait. So my third, yes. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy how it happens, man, well, the first thing that happened that was very weird to me and strange was I got matched up unbeknownst to me against Laureano Staropoli, completely unbeknownst. I mean, like, I woke up and my face was literally on UFC Espanol's Instagram, verified and all, blue check verified, promoting a fight. And I was nervous as in, like, damn, my neck is kind of destroyed right now. But I was nervous as in, like, I called Julian. I said, hey, man, is this how it works? Like, what's going on? Is this how the UFC works? Like, I could be in Aruba one day and then look online and see I'm booked. Like, and he's like, nah, man, like, I don't know what happened here, man, and blah, blah, blah. So, like, I hit up my manager, and who's phenomenal. Abe made a call. He was like, yo, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, my guy's booked to fight. We got no fight info, no news. So I don't know what happened there. I'm not dropping any names, but somebody dropped the ball, and that fight was scratched off the strength of it was never presented to me ever. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not anyone that's like I'm very transparent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't gotta lie about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared of nobody. It was just a very weird situation, So, and also it's on my terms, you know what I mean? I'm not just going to be forced to do something because someone said so. So it was really weird what happened. UFC reached out to us and said, hey, man, I don't know what happened here. We apologize. This has never happened. Whatever. Fight was scratched. Now, my manager hits me up with names and offers, and we get a fight. And we're good to go. So now I get my first matchup against Cole Williams, whoever, middle-aged guy. I'm not sure where he's from, like Midwest or something. And this, over time, ends up being April of this year. That's pre-corona. So UFC Uruguay, that was with Rodolfo Vieira. He made his debut. Fans, everything. So I was the very next fight after UFC Uruguay. And UFC Uruguay was open to the public. After UFC Uruguay, the very next event, the UFC canceled because of Corona. And that was my event. That was UFC Portland. So if you look at the timeline, right after UFC Uruguay, they had no more events. So my event got canceled April 22nd. And I was like, oh, no big deal. I didn't think the event was going to get canceled. They, when I mean canceled, they canceled the fans. So I said, okay, cool. We're going to go to the Apex like we were. I knew this was going to happen. So first they canceled the fans. Then my manager called, said, Phil, we're fighting at the Apex, no fans. Cool. Perfect for me, honestly, because I just fought the Apex. Cool. Good to go. Fast forward. This is the very start of Corona. Exactly. And this is the very first event after Uruguay. They canceled all the fights indefinitely. So it went from that week. It went from we didn't know if we were going to fight. Then it went to the Apex. Then all the fights got canceled. So it was frustrating. No big deal. So I'm slated to fight Cole Williams.
Right.
Contracted, signed, my end, his end, whatever. Fast forward. Now we're dealing with the Corona. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who's fighting. There's no fight island. None of this is happening yet. So the UFC lets us know, hey, this card is the first card to be matched. UFC Portland. That was Walt Harris versus Overeem. So these guys will be, once the UFC's up and running, replaced on the very first show. Okay, cool. So my manager said, Phil, there's nothing we can control. Just train, and then they'll give us a heads up. Fast forward, where they're starting to kick Fight Island, they're starting to kick shows. I'm like, hey, what's going on with my opponent? We keep getting, hey, your opponent is not training right now, so they're going to postpone it. Oh, all right. I mean, no big deal. It's kind of weird, whatever. We're still locked in. Cool.
So let me interrupt you for a second, because I want to just clear people up on the timeline, because that fight that was supposed to be in Portland with Harris and Overeem ended up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Were you offered to move your fight to Jacksonville? Because that's where the UFC first came back, was Jacksonville. They did 3 shows in a 10-day span.
No.
Mike Davis was supposed to fight then. He ended up pulling out.
So what happened was, my opponent, once again, we're slated to fight.
Right.
No one's ever saying he's not fighting, nothing. Fight week. So fight week is that Monday. This is Thursday before fight week. Hey, your opponent's not fighting. Okay, cool, whatever. Yeah, your opponent can't fight, blah, 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 blah. Phil, do you want to take this guy? Do you want to take that guy? Do you want to take this guy? No, I'm okay. Not for nothing. I want to do it the right way. I'm talking to my manager, Phil, no, we'll wait for the fight. They offered me Anthony Rocco Martin. I think his name is Anthony Martin.
Right.
Neil Magny ended up taking the fight. Neil Magny beats the guy. Neil Magny makes a lot more money than me.
Yeah.
So that same fight that I was offered, Neil Magny took it, and I'm sure Neil Magny made a nice payday. I'd have made 10 grand if I beat him. So it was like, I said no. Yes, I did. Why I said no was because I was training to fight Cole Williams. This is my UFC debut. I didn't feel like on a week's notice switching my opponent for no reason. I didn't need to. You know, I could, when they said, hey, I'm not mad at you, Phil. Your opponent pulled out. We can just rebook it. Cool, let's rebook it. So that's what happened. Now I'm waiting on Cole. Fast forward again. Whatever UFC event it was, for whatever reason, me and Cole not fighting. I don't know what's going on his end. My manager said, Phil, look, Cole is not fighting you. How about that? Let's put it that way. He's not fighting you. He's booked to fight someone else. Now I know Cole doesn't want to fight me. Let's move on. So I get booked against Matt Schellmansberger. Done deal. Contract signed. We're fighting. Fast forward. Fight week. Sparring, going through the motions with my teammate Jared Gooden, who just fought Alan Joban.
Yep.
I broke my toe, fractured my foot. Don't ask me how. I can release the video to the world. If you can find where it happened in the video, I'll give you $1,000. We can't find where my toe was like this, turned. Next morning, my foot swollen. Can't walk, can't stand. There's no way I can fight. Obviously, I pull out of the fight, and fast forward where we're at now. You know, this is 12 weeks ago at this point, whatever happened. I heal up. I get better. Sean Shelby's like, Phil, I'm not mad at you. I got guys that I've been doing this a long time. You're injured. There's nothing you can do about a broken bone. He goes, I'm fine. Call me when you're healed and we'll get you booked. But don't tell me you want to fight with Adolfo next week and I book you and you can't fight because you're not cleared. That's what will annoy me. So he goes, hey, don't worry about nothing. You get healed and we'll book you. I'm healed. I hit up my manager. Hey, I'm ready to go. They call me, I don't know when, this week. So whenever I announced it, they literally called me that day. I said, cool, let's run it. Sign the contract. We're fighting. So a lot of things have been out my control. And what I can control is Phil. And that's me showing up to the gym every single day. That's me getting better every single day. That's me taking care of myself. I don't give a fuck about anyone else. I don't care what anyone has to say. I'm just worried about Phil. I'm doing it my way, and it's that. So until someone puts themselves in my position, until someone goes through what I've been through, push through adversity I've been through, and attain the level that I'm at, you can do what you want. But until then, I'm going to do it how I want to do it. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks or says. And come February 13th, I'm going to show up. And I guarantee you I'm going to show out, as I always do. So February 13th is the go date, and I'm ready. And everyone keeps talking about this time off. I train every day. I get beat up every day. I'm training with the baddest dudes every day. There's no time off. You guys maybe don't see me, but I'm doing this every single day. You know what I mean? So like I live this life every day. I don't train when I have a fight. I train every single day. So there's nothing changed. I'm just a lot better than I was last year this time. Because now I got a whole nother year of getting beat up by Hidalgo and Bubba and Julian and Jacare and now Lyoto Machida. So I feel bad for these guys, man. Like, I'm a lot more skilled than these guys. I am, and that's a fact. You break down my skill set, you break down these guys' skill set. I am better. I just am. X factors is mental and showing up. You know what I mean? Some guys maybe have a little bit more grit. You know, maybe show up better under the lights, but skill set for skill set, I should be dominating these guys. And I'm gonna. They'll see.
That's what I like, man. You know, and that's what I like about you, man. I ask you a question. I don't have to sit here and pull answers. I can just sit back and like file my nails and do shit because you have it all the way through. You know, you're for as young as you are in the fight game. You know, I mean, you're 9 fights in, pro wise. You know, you haven't even made your UFC debut yet. But the one thing that I've noticed over the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 years with you is your fight IQ concerning the fight game itself, rather than just, you know, the art of fighting, because there's more to it than just training, you know, doing some working out and then fighting on fight night. There's a whole different aspect that a lot of people don't get, especially young in their career. They make mistakes with bookings. They take, you know, short notice fights when they shouldn't have, you know, to get a debut because they want their shot. And then there's Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe could have had a couple different fights already, but you chose to do, like you said, this is my first fight in the octagon. I'm going to slow my roll. I'm going to do it my way. Nobody's going to dictate how I take this fight, who I'm fighting. It's got to be, you know, a decision that, you know, is well thought out and planned for. And I respect you for that. Because there's a lot of guys who don't have the balls to do it, you know, because they're worried that they won't get the shot. Even though you got a contract, you know, it doesn't mean they ever have to put you in. They could just rip it up as easily as they wrote it. And you knew, and I think you know, you're smart enough in your head to understand that that could have happened to you.
You're damn right it could have. And then look, then I live with it if it did, you know. But either way, look, man, I do this because I want to do this. Nobody, literally not a soul on planet Earth can make me do anything I don't want to do. Not one human being on the entire Earth. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm not.
There's one.
There's no one.
There's one.
Not one.
There's one person on this earth that can make you do stuff that you don't want to do, and that's your little girl.
We'll see, man. You know what I mean? We'll see. It sounds good. But like I said, man, not a single soul on planet Earth is going to tell Phil what to do. And in the least cocky way, you know, meaning like you're in control of your life, period.
Amen.
The same way no one thought that I could get to where I'm at now is, why am I going to listen to people that one didn't believe I could be here? You know what I mean? So why the fuck am I going to listen to someone when I'm here? Phil, do this. Yeah. No, you don't worry about me. You grind, you win 7 fights in a row, you go on Dana White Contender Series and win a fight, and then you do what the fuck you want to do. Until then, I am going to do me every single time. I don't care how anyone thinks, how anyone feels. I'm going to do me. And I'm going to show up either way. I'm at February 13th. I will be there 1,000%. I'm going to be in front of Gabe Green. The bell's in the ring. I'm going to go right at him. He'll see. So they'll find out, man. Soon enough, them soon find out.
Them soon find out.
They will.
Hey, guys, you're watching Cage Star with Christopher James. We are live tonight. It's Thanksgiving night, and we are here with Phil the Fresh Prince Rowe. Tonight's show is brought to you by Just Heart Apparel, a legacy over ego. I always say eagle for some reason. I don't know why, man, but legacy over ego. They're Just Heart Apparel and Just Heart Apparel East Coast. My buddy Andrew Sams, he put some time and some money into the show, and I appreciate all that he does for us. We're talking with Phil the Fresh Prince Rowe, debuting UFC welterweight come February 13th. I believe that fight card is that a numbered pay-per-view that you're on?
UFC 258.
That's what I thought. That's fucking dope, dude. How does that make you feel, dude? You know, you waited, you were patient, and now your debut is going to happen on a numbered pay-per-view. I know you'll be on the prelim side. You're not going to be on the main card, but that's all right. It's still a pay-per-view, and that's
awesome.
Usman versus Burns.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's great.
It's awesome. I'm going out. I'm going to Harlem shake my way out to the ring. I'm going to move. I'm going to be elusive. My right hand's going to land, and I'm going to make some money. I know I am. So they'll see. They'll see.
You got to do me a favor. Make sure your dance moves are better than Izzy's. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Izzy's half decent, but also, man, I've been doing that just as long as him. He's on a whole nother platform than me. He's on a whole nother level than me, but I've been diddy bopping my way out there since 2011, man. And
I know
nothing's going to change.
Even at your jiu-jitsu match you did at
every time
up in Pensacola, man, when who the fuck did you roll with?
Mike Rose, my boy Mike Rose.
Mike Biggie Rhodes. Yeah. When you walked out of the stage there, you had your moves on,
Shout out to Mike Rose. He's a good guy.
You were ready. That was good. So let's talk about your fight. So it's coming up on the 13th of February. It's Gabe Green. He's 9-3. So relatively, as far as MMA experience and career, you guys are relatively in the same boat. You're 9 fights in, he's 12. There's not that vast of a difference about actual fight experience. What do you see from him? And I already know part of the answer because I know you and I know how confident you are in what you do and you believe in yourself that much. But what is something that Gabe brings to the table to you that you have to pay attention to a little more? Is it his stand-up for you, or is it his ground game that you have to be just a little more aware of?
One shout out to Gabe Green. He's an awesome guy, man. And they'll see going forward, man. You don't gotta hate your opponent. Me and him are actually good friends, man. He beat up Leon Shabazian right before I did, and he sent me footage. And he sent me footage of him, of the fight, and to study. Good guy,
That's
man.
Awesome.
He's very durable, and he comes forward a lot, and he throws a lot of volume. He's good, man. Has a little bit more fights than me. Professional. I don't think he's been fighting longer than me. It's a good matchup, man. I think anyone shorter than me is just gonna have a problem with me, period. Because I don't like to be hit. And that could be on record because I'm not gonna get hit often. I'm long, I use my footwork, I have hella good boxing. So it's just gonna be hard for people to deal with me that's shorter than me. So we'll see, man. He comes forward a lot, but my skill set, man, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna be a little bit too much for him, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he made his pro debut in 2016. He started his amateur career in 2014. So he's been in the game now. He's been fighting for 6 years, and he had a bunch of amateur fights before he turned pro. And I like your assessment. He does like to come forward. He does like to dictate the pace inside the cage or the octagon or the ring, wherever he's fighting. But where I see the advantages for you, and this is the one thing, this is where you're John Jones blessed with that length. You have an incredible reach. Is it 80 or is it 83 or is it 84?
83 and a half. And I'm gonna let you in. I'm gonna let you in on a secret because you're my boy. And,
all right, boys. Wait, hold on, guys. Cage Side exclusive right here with Phil Rowe.
It is. So shout out to Kelly Davis, my boxing coach. I thought when I had the reach that I have, I thought it was a cool thing that I was so long, right? Pause. And my coach took me to a fight and they were measuring my reach, and I reached out wide and I put my shoulders back and he slapped me on my side. He said, what are you doing, man? He goes, you pull your shoulders in, man. You don't give them all that. So I said, okay. And I do this number. And then they put me down 80 inches. So he said, look, and he's from the old school boxing era. His brother won a world title, Concrete Calvin Davis, WBF world champ, like monster. And so when they measured me, I pulled my shoulders back and I give them not all of my reach. So my reach is 83.5 inches. If you stretch my arms out my middle finger to my middle finger on a wall, 83.5. The UFC has me down for like 80. And that's because of Kelly. When we went there for the contender, he made me tuck in. He said, look, man, you let them figure out those other three when they're in there with you. He goes, you don't give them all that.
That's funny.
So yeah, they'll see that on paper, like, damn, this guy has all that reach. Then when they get in there, they're gonna feel more. Pause.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good funny story, dude. Like, you don't give them all that. You know, don't show all your cards, right? So, for this fight, coming up, you know, it's the I don't want to say it's the dream, because it's not the dream just to get there. It's the dream to get there, compete, stay there, win gold. But this is phase one, you know, or phase 1A. Phase one was the contender series at this point. So this is phase 1A. Are you approaching this any differently as far as your preparation, or are you just doing what Phil always does?
I'm doing what I normally do, and that's train more than everyone else, and that's put in more work than everyone else does. But it feels a little different, and it feels good. It's weird, because I'm usually at this point a little nervous. You know, I'm a little weary of the fight. I think about it a lot, but it's weird, man. I signed and I was good to go. And that's a good feeling for me. That's a good sign for me. Either way, I show up, but you deal with the fight anxiety, you know, you think about your opponent, but I don't know, man. Like, I was 100% congruent with fighting him and making my debut at this time. And it just feels right, man. So, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do my thing.
So this is a long camp too now, because I mean you announced this fight last week, so we're looking at 12 weeks of camp. Now you're not going to be in full fight camp right now. You're just doing your normal training, and you'll go into an official fight camp. 6 to 8 weeks out, where you officially start that last grind.
Chris, I have no idea what a fight camp is. I'm not sure what that means. I train every day the same way.
There you go.
So and that's gonna be my edge. I show up every day like I'm a white belt. Ask Julian, ask anyone that I train with. I show up every day like I've never been in the gym. So I don't have a fight camp. I just train my ass off every day.
So when do you start like game planning for the opponent? 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or start now.
Now Julian's like, hey man, this guy's doing this, so we better do that, and then we add that in our training. But I train every day, man. Like, and people see me. I look how I look right now is how I'm gonna look at weigh-ins. Literally, like I just ate food. Nothing changes.
Nope.
I walk around 7% body fat. I live this lifestyle. And at times I'm like, man, Phil, you're not as big as these guys. These guys are 200 pounds. Like, no, I'm 187 pounds because I train every day, 3 times a day. No, that's overtraining. Cool. That's how I do it. That's what makes me feel confident in my skill set, is showing up every damn day and training 6 hours a day, every single day. And that's what I do. And a lot of these guys, man, and I look at it too, and I'm like, this guy has more experience. This guy, they don't. They may have more experience, but like the people I train with bridges the gap. I train in a hyperbolic time chamber. Like the guys I get to train with, I see it, man. I go to seminars with these guys, and these guys are getting thousands of dollars to teach people for an hour. These are my homeboys I train with every single day. You know what I mean? Like I get to feel what the best feels like every single day. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take a second of it for granted. Jacare Souza has 2 fights left in his contract, and he's been a big part of my career. And I don't know how many guys up and coming at welterweight can say they've trained with Jacare every day. You know what I mean? Like, have put in over 200 rounds of sparring with him. You know what I mean? So that's what I lean on. I lean on my training and the work I put in at the gym. Like I said, skill set, I should be able to kill these guys, and I know I can. Like, these guys come to my gym and they get beat up by me, and they get beat up by my team. In the fight, it's a different story. I know you got to show up under those lights. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm getting experience in by fighting in the UFC. But my skill set's there, and it'll carry me. So I'll get the cage experience, and then I'll get more and more comfortable in there. Then I'm just gonna be impossible to deal with.
That's the way it should be. That's and that's the right mindset to have going into this. You know what you want out of this, and you know what you're capable of bringing to it. So, and again, you're smart. You've got a good management team with you, with first round management, all those guys. So it's definitely I mean, even though you started out your career 0-2, I don't think your career could be going any better than it is, and then the path and the trajectory that we're looking at for you. And fucking happy for you, dude. Like I said, man, I told you guys at the beginning, I met Philly, was 0-2. We talked in the back room before a fight I was announcing he was fighting at House of Fame, and I just told him to go out there and do his thing, basically. And I knew he'd get here. So that's it. He's here. Started at the bottom. I'm talking about started at the bottom. 0-2. You were under the bottom, bro.
Now we here. Guys don't come back from that. I think I don't want to put that on Neil Magny, but I think Neil Magny was 0-2. I think he was. So, but Neil Magny's a legend, man.
When he started his pro career, he started out 0-2.
I think I don't want to. Don't quote me. You know what I mean? Neil Magny's my guy, so I don't want to throw out information I don't know. But
I want to be twins.
I think he was. Nah, he wished he looked as good as me, man. Hell of a fighter. Ugly dude. Ugly guy. Monster.
Right. I'm going down to his record right now.
Monster of a fighter. Ugly dude, though. It's my boy.
No, he didn't start out 0-2.
He lost 2 in a row, no? Like early on.
He went 5-0, then he lost a fight, then he won a fight.
Not Neil. It was somebody. Like I said.
He didn't lose 2 in a row till he fought at in 2013. He lost to Sergio Moraes and then Seth Baczynski. But then he went on a great run until he lost to Damian Maia. That loss to Lorenz Larkin he had too. That was a strange one for me. Ponzinibbio beat him. Now he's on a 3-fight winning streak right now.
Yeah, man. So, Neil Magny's a stud.
Neil
Magny's a stud, man. Legend. He'll go down as a legend. He beat a lot of motherfuckers.
All right, so guys, that is Phil Rowe right there. He's fighting February 13th. Taking on Gabe Green at UFC 258. I'm guessing right now you're looking at a video game.
Yes, I am.
I knew you were. So then that's what I was going to ask you. For a lot of the fight fans out there are gamers. They got gamer tags, and I know there's a lot of athletes out there, especially from the MMA community, because I believe they're the most accessible and willing to be accessible athletes in the world. If you want to throw out your gamer tag, I follow your stuff, and I see you talking shit to everybody. Who gonna come get this shit? I'm gonna take you out. Take you. You take your gaming as serious as you take your fighting career, which I love.
It's awesome. Philly Fresh MMA is my PlayStation Network name. You go on there, you'll see my stats. That's the cool thing about Warzone. Guys talk a lot of shit, but you can't. There's so many. They keep day-to-day stats, hour-to-hour stats. So you just click on there, see my stats, and see what I do to people. But I'm here. If anybody wants to, I'm still whipping up people right now when I'm not communicating with my team. They're pissed off at me, but we had prior obligations. But yeah, Philly Fresh MMA.
All right. Well, listen, brother, I want to say thank you for taking the time. You've been on my show a couple different times here and there. This is probably the most conventional interview I've ever done with you in my career. It was cool though. Sometimes I got to be fully professional. But as always, I tell you, man, since I met you, I knew you were going to get here. I'm proud of you, man, because you never let anybody shut down your vision of what you wanted out of your career. Even with the 0-2 start, you still persevered. You came through. When you think about it, dude, you got the job, you got the girl, you got the fam, you got it all, and you don't even have to. It's not even about money at this point. You're already a rich man. So. I know you want some cheddar, but you're already rich, bro.
I appreciate that, man. And I believe that. I believe that. Not materialistic either. I really believe. Nope. And like I said, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your platform. And I appreciate you having me on, man.
Well, always, dude. I appreciate you coming on, man. Some guys I've interviewed, at the beginning of their careers before they got to the UFC, and then they get to the UFC and they big time you. Like, I don't got time for that show or that show or that show. All the guys that covered them before they got there. So I don't worry about that with Phil. Phil going to be getting a championship belt one day, and he's going to come on my show. Fuck Ariel. No, of course you got to do Ariel, John. I mean, you know. My sponsor Andrew Sams just popped on here from Just Start. He just popped up on the screen, dropped a comment on. He said, "Have a good one, Phil." And Forrest Daniels believes in you 100%. He's got the 3 fires burning for you, bro. Well, listen, man. Before I do let you go, just give me your thoughts on this Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Fight this weekend, because I know, you know, besides MMA, I know you're a boxing aficionado. I know you know the sport. The legendary status of these two men is, you know, incredible. I'm taking Roy to win this fight, especially with the rules they're putting in. I just think Roy's going to be faster, and he's got to outbox Mike.
Yeah, I think Roy's going to beat him easily. And I'm not going to harp on that too much, but I just think Roy's going to beat him easy. I think he's going to do it inside of the time limit, but I think Roy's going to beat him easy.
Yeah, 8 2-minute rounds. If a cut occurs, the fight's over. You know, they're not scoring knockouts, although, you know, and it's funny that they're saying all this stuff, because I'm going, yeah, Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson are going to go in there and they're going to pity-pat punch. Fuck that. These guys are going to go out there and knock heads off. And I know some people are bagging on the pay-per-view and all that stuff. I'm going to watch it because I know that both these men have too much pride to sit in there and, you know, just go, all right, let's just dance around. You know, this ain't Rocky and Hulk Hogan and, you know, in one of those Rocky movies where they go, we'll do a little of this and then a little of this. These guys are going to go out there and fight.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right. So listen, you enjoy the rest of your night. Tell the missus and the baby I said hello, and happy Thanksgiving from me and my wife to you and yours and everybody. If you want to shout out any sponsors or anything else before you dip, feel free.
Spikes Tactical. Shout out to my guys, Spikes Tactical. Shout out to Bump Box. Shout out to Mark Nolan Shoes. Daniel Martinez Law. If you're in trouble, hit up my guy Dan Martinez. But appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. And anytime, you know, I'm always accessible, brother.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, you enjoy the rest of your night. Go kill some people on your video game right there. The video game handle, guys, on the PlayStation Network is Philly Fresh MMA. So go out there and, you know, you won't be feeling a real fight, but you might get a shot at him at the video game, but I doubt that.
That's a whole fact, though. That's a whole fact.
Phil don't play on the video game. He takes that just as serious as his trading in the fight. So you're probably going to get your ass kicked there, too. I'm just throwing it out there, kids. But, you know, fuck it. You get to play with the UFC fighter. Phil, have a good night, man. Thanks for jumping out here tonight, man. I'm going to send you a message because I got a favor to ask you. I'll shoot that to you after. And, again, thanks for doing this tonight, man. God bless, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
God bless you, brother.
Peace. All right, boys and girls, that was Phil, the Fresh Prince Rowe. Love that cat, man. He's you know, you hear the confidence when he speaks, and it's not bravado, it's belief. He truly has vision in mind, and he has what he wants to do set. So he's going to continue to, you know, go out there and live his life and fight his way and do it, you know, the way he wants to. And that's how it's always going to be. So, you know, congratulations to him on getting there. And let's see, you know, how he does when he fights on February 13th. We have my next guest waiting. Well, hopefully he'll be here in just a minute. He's running a little behind. Sasha Palatnikov. He fought on the Contender Series last week, took on Louis Kosi. Kosi was 7-0. Kosi is now 7-1. And Palatnikov got a contract to the UFC. It was a really tough fight. Sasha in the round 1 was getting hammered. Kosi is one of those guys. Kosi hadn't been out of the first round until that fight on the Contender Series, if I'm correct. And he came out firing like he does, and he overwhelmed his opponent with punches and strikes and put him on the ground and was really just beating the crap out of him. But Sasha was able to persevere and ride the storm out, and then turn that first round around. And, you know, rounds 2 and round 3, you know, and round 3 he finished the fight. But in round 2 and round 3, whatever Kosi did in that first round was negated by all the stuff that Palatnikov did in round 2, and then eventually in round 3 when he finished the fight. This guy can take the fight anywhere. He's got submission victories. He's got knockouts. I mean, he's got some decision wins in his career. He is, Let me pull up my numbers here. He is 7-2 or 6-2 right now. So, like Phil's 7-2. These guys might end up fighting each other one day. You just never know. Phil would have an 11.5 reach advantage because he just told us on the show 83.5. And let's say he did fight Palatnikov. Palatnikov has a 72-inch reach. So Phil would have 11.5-inch reach advantage, which is crazy. Phil is a long, lean fight machine at welterweight. He is to welterweight size-wise as far as length and reach and height. He is to the welterweight division what John Jones was at light heavyweight, just bigger than everybody and able to make the weight easy, not have a problem. I mean, Phil said, he'd walk around like 186. So his weight cut will be 16 pounds, and, during fight week, his fight week weight cut will probably be, 6 pounds, because he's going to properly plan his nutrition and his workouts around the fight and training for it. So, okay, now just hang on a second. I got to shoot a message here to Sasha Palatnikov. But check out some people that like to love me. Check us out.
Hi guys, I'm Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship heavyweight fighter Mark Godbeer, and you're watching Cage Side with Christopher James.
This is Max Payne Griffin, UFC welterweight, and you are watching Cage Side with Christopher James.
Man, the people will be watching the show and they telling you guys you need to watch that show. You know what I'm saying, man? So, Mark Godbeer, we'll switch gears here for a minute. Mark Godbeer is going to be fighting in December, making his bare knuckle fighting championship debut. He'll be taking on Sam Shoemaker in a heavyweight contest. It's basically a title eliminator. If Godbeer wins this fight, with his Bellator and UFC experience, and he gets his fight won, and his bare knuckle experience as well, even though it was in another promotion. If Godbeer pulls off the victory, which most are expecting him to do, we'll probably expect to see them in a heavyweight title fight against Joey Beltran Super Bowl week, which will be the same night that Paige Van Zandt debuts with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So that's pretty interesting stuff. Godbeer is highly touted, highly respected in the bare knuckle community. And, we're all waiting for him to debut with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. A little bumpy road to get here, but he's here and he's ready to roll. So, hopefully things will go well for him. He had to go through a crazy quarantine period in Abu Dhabi before he was even able to fly to the United States to train. And he came here to train and get fights. And the only way he could do, the only way he was going to get fights here is if he came here. And so he crossed the pond and now he's here and ready to go to work. So, good stuff. We have a UFC fight card coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about that, I guess, while we're waiting for Sasha. Hopefully they'll jump in soon. So this fight card is all built around a heavyweight match between the number 2. Let me double check that. Number 2 ranked heavyweight in the world. We got the champ. We got Francis. We got Curtis. So Stipe Miocic is the number 1 heavyweight in the world. Sometimes they don't put the champ as a number. They go, oh, there's number 1 ranked contender. Well, the champ is number 1. So champ, Francis, and then Curtis. And, Curtis only lost 2 fights in his life, and that's both to Francis. So, we could be looking at a 16-0 heavyweight right now. Boy, the landscape would be a lot different had he taken out Ngannou. He'd probably be getting the title fight right now. But Curtis Blades is taking on Derek Lewis this weekend. It's an ESPN2, ESPN Plus card. So this will be on multiple platforms for you guys to watch. Derek Lewis has the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history, I believe. I got to say, this is like his 20th fight inside the octagon. The big lights don't bother him. He's always a quote machine. And then we have, he can knock you out at any time. I mean, when he fought Volkov, how late in the fight did that happen? He was getting worked the whole fight. But Curtis Blades is a different animal. And Curtis Blades Derek Lewis has been able to get off the ground from some people, but Curtis Blades is not that guy. Curtis Blades is, as far as I'm concerned, the best wrestler in the heavyweight division. And even though Daniel Cormier in the heavyweight division, Olympics, all that stuff, I think for MMA wrestling, I would still say Curtis was just a smidge better. His frame dictates so much of what he does inside the octagon, and he's a big dude. So obviously he's a heavyweight, but he's a big dude. He's got great length and reach, and he understands and knows how to use it to, acquire positions, secure takedowns, put himself in that top spot where he can rain down, and his ground and pound's gotten vicious. And guys, don't forget, Curtis can knock you out. I mean, he went into a fight with Junior Dos Santos, everybody expecting him to definitely take Junior down because they gave Junior the striking advantage, and Curtis finished him on the feet. And granted, Junior, is not the same Junior he was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Father Time catches everybody, but he's still a legitimate, puncher, a legitimate fighter, and Curtis overwhelmed him. So this is going to be a fun fight. There's been some, good, quotes back and forth with these guys, which, I always love. But it's going to be a fun fight. But I do think Curtis Blades is going to come out on top. He just, he just has that thing about him. And I think he's going to, even if he comes out on top and he secures the fight from the ground, by pounding the shit out of Derek Lewis, he's going to make sure that he does it. He's going to try to do it in an exciting fashion. Because after his last fight, where he did gas out and he admitted it. And Dana White really crapped all over him, saying that, this guy talked all this shit he shouldn't be talking. He might want to stay busy, rather than sit around and wait for his title shot. He won the fight, and Dana White crapped all over him. I've seen plenty of guys win fights, and get shots, without having, super duper finishing skills. And, so I don't get it. I don't get it. But, Curtis Blades has done nothing but go out there and win fights. He has one guy that's beat him twice. So that has been the Achilles heel for him. And, in the rematch, which, if Francis wins, who knows what's going to happen? They'll probably, catapult John Jones into a title shot over Curtis. Not a fan of that. I'm not saying John Jones, doesn't deserve, high profile fight at the top and maybe even a title shot, but it's hard to swallow that pill when he hasn't fought in the division. And you have a guy like Curtis who's been there and, legitimately has earned the contender spot he's at and should get a title shot after this next fight between Ngannou. As long as Curtis wins on Saturday night, of course. So if Curtis wins it Saturday night and he, does so in exciting fashion, then he'd probably be next in line to face the winner of Stipe and Francis. If Stipe wins, obviously, Curtis is getting him next. If Francis wins, this is where it becomes interesting, because if Francis wins, are they going to book, Curtis and Francis for the belt, for a third time to fight each other? I don't know. In which case the John Jones scenario makes all the sense in the world. So it is what it is. That's all you can do. Right? So that's all you can do. But Curtis takes it in stride. But he also, John Jones coming to heavyweight, he made a statement the other day. I don't have it in front of me, otherwise I'd read you the exact statement. But the basics of the statement were that, John Jones is great. He's a great fighter, but you're coming into a whole different world up here in the heavyweight division where the big boys play. And Curtis is right. John Jones is as brilliantly talented, as brilliant as he handles his career and as talented as he is. It is a different world up there at heavyweight. Not saying he won't compete. I've told people for years that if John Jones decides to go to heavyweight, he'll probably go out there and become the heavyweight champion and dominate up there. No disrespect to anybody else in that division. But John Jones is just that type of athlete. So we'll see how it all breaks down. All right, guys. Well, listen, I haven't heard back from my second guest. Maybe something came up. Sometimes that happens with pro fighters. No big deal. We'll reach out to him off the air and we'll try to get him scheduled for later on the week, maybe Saturday, for a preview show of this card coming up. So, but guys, they did tune in. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight, man. Thanks to my guest, Phil, the Fresh Prince Rowe. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation with Phil. We will have announcements for what episodes will be coming up. Next week, I will be in Pensacola next weekend for Island Fight 65 at the Haji Shrine in Pensacola. Huge amateur card. We're going to have some brand new title belts given out. And Devin Adams and Dean Toole have been busting ass to get this card, and they've been busy doing Icon. So they've been, overseas, international, doing stuff with Icon, and they've been slam doing that. But I'm sure they're happy to come home and, put on a show for the fans here in Pensacola. I'll be there in the ring announcing. Can't wait to get back to Pensacola, see my Pensacola peeps. So next week, Island Fight 65. I'm sure my boy Dave Van Auken from Fight Banana is going to be in the crowd, in the house, covering the show. But that's it for tonight, guys. So thanks again for taking the time to join us. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, as always, for being a part of my life today and allowing me to be a little part of yours. It means the world to me, and I'll never be able to put into words what that actually means inside of here. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I am Christopher James. Y'all have been Cage Side. Good night, everybody.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell's Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.